It was Friday, November 12th, 2021. I was scheduled to be at work, but I called off to get the house cleaned up. We had boxes everywhere from the move, and we had just gotten the Christmas stuff out, so it was pretty messy. So I got up real early and started cleaning. Your mom was close to getting home from work, so I made her a cup of hot tea and some sausage links to eat before going to bed after her long shift. She got home, ate, and I sent her off to bed. A few minutes later, I was doing the dishes, and she peeks her head around the corner. I turned around, and she was wide-eyed. I asked if everything was okay. Ever so slowly, she moved her hand out from behind the wall and revealed a pregnancy test. I dropped everything I was doing, and I went and hugged her. Still to this day, I don't know how to describe how that moment felt. The feeling of my life's about to change forever is kind of hard to put in words, so I did my best to capture everything that we did during this incredible journey of excitement to meeting you. Your mom took 6 positive pregnancy tests and still didn't quite think it would be true until we would get our first ultrasound. That's pretty much how your mom felt until the first ultrasound. And even though we wouldn't get to see you, we were still excited for our first appointment on the 23rd of November. At the appointment, the nurse confirmed that we were at 5 weeks then, so we knew about you when you were only 3 weeks along. Your mom struggled with the idea of telling people about you yet without seeing an ultrasound because, well, how could something this amazing be happening? It almost felt too good to be true, but we did decide to start telling our close family and friends. Now, with your mom's side being so scattered, we could only tell your Nana in person. Everyone else was on the phone. But with my side, it was a little bit easier because they're all in one spot together. Now, we wanted to make it extra special for your grandma, so we found them a little set of booties and gave it to them as part of your announcement. And seeing our families get so excited at just the idea of you coming into the picture was shown on all their faces, and it could not have gone better. Now, as soon as she could, your mom started checking for your heartbeat with her Doppler. At first, it was hard for her to find you. You were kind of, really good at hiding. But one day I was at work and your mom had just been trying to find you all day long. I got a video from her and I watched it on my break. She recorded the first time she was able to find you, and I sat in the break room with tears of joy on my face. You have had my heart since the first time I heard yours. Now that Christmas had passed, we were in the new year and off on our anniversary trip. We traveled down to Indianapolis for a few days. And we got to the city a little too early to check into the hotel, so we stopped by the mall and discovered the first thing we'd ever make for you. We went to Build-A-Bear and made you your first toy. At this point, we didn't know if you'd be a boy or a girl, so we kept the bear pretty simple and classic. And we even recorded an I love you message so that you can walk around with your bear, you can squeeze its hand, and you'll always know how much you're loved. Once we checked in, signs of pregnancy started to kick in. Your mom ordered a massive 16-ounce prime ribeye steak and ate the whole thing. She was getting kind of sick of it, but she was like, man, this is too expensive to throw away. She ate it all, and I was super proud of her. Most of our trip, though, was spent in the hotel because the exhaustion had kind of hit your mom pretty hard. We took maybe 3 naps a day and went to bed relatively early, too. But while we were up, most of our time was spent watching Encanto on repeat. Now, getting back from the trip, we had an ultrasound scheduled. We finally got to see you. You were just this cute little baby, only about the size of a plum when we first saw you. You had no defining features, but goodness, you were moving. It was pretty surreal seeing you, like this is actually happening. Now, we got back home and made the official announcement on all social media platforms. That way, all of our friends and family knew you were on your way. Alrighty, so your mom never had the intense, ruthless cravings like in the movies, but she did have cravings that, she just couldn't get off her mind. These mild type of cravings sparked some impulsive purchases. She bought $30 worth of popcorn seasoning and 7 large bottles of coffee syrup while she was at work one night. She also wanted a steady amount of pickles, watermelon, and orange juice in her day-to-day eating for the majority of the pregnancy. Now, just a few weeks ago, she was eating a full, massive steak, and just shortly after had a big old meat aversion for a while. There was a time I bought her vegan chicken wings that had absolutely no chicken in them, but she couldn't eat them because they tasted like real chicken, like they were too good. But that just meant more for me, so that's alright too. Now I thought, being your dad and all, I'd be in the clear on pregnancy symptoms, and all I would have to do is help your mom through hers. Well, I could not have guessed that aside from carrying you myself, I had a lot of sympathy symptoms, and some your mom didn't have. She had several nights of no sleep, which is, to be expected, but there were about 2 weeks there where I was struggling to get sleep too. I didn't have anything going on, I'm just pretty sure it was sympathy, lack of sleep. Your mom also never got morning sickness, but for the first couple months in the first trimester, I threw up 4 times and I never get sick. She started having some hip joint pain, and not too long afterwards, I had sciatica and lower back pain flare up, and I even had a meat aversion for a while in January. What the heck? We started doing some shopping to prepare for you, and the first necessity we got you was your car seat, which looking back now, we realized you absolutely love car rides, so it was a pretty good purchase. That night we started putting together the rest of your baby shower registry. Now, like I said, your mom had some cravings here and there, but one of my favorite cravings she had while pregnant was the French toast sticks, but not just like any kind, a 3-pound box of French toast sticks that she sent me to get at the wee hours of the morning. I couldn't get in until 7 when the store opened, but by golly, she got them. The box was huge, and I still like to goof on her to this day. So if the French toast sticks were one of my favorite cravings of your mom's, one of her better moments too was when she forcefully put her straw in a cup of cherry Coke. She thought she had abused the ice in the cup, and she had the thought that she would be a terrible mom because of how she treated the ice in her cup. I had to reassure her that how a person treats their ice does not reflect how great of a mom they're going to be. It was just a really funny moment of emotions, to say the least. Now, the day to figure out what gender you were was here. Your mom had a gut feeling since the beginning that you'd be a boy. I had been saying that you'd be a girl, but deep down, I never really felt it was true. We went to the ultrasound room with anticipation and excitement. They turned the lights off and we were waiting to see if the room would light up blue or pink. Hearts racing, and on the edge of our seats, the lights lit up blue, and knowing that we were going to have a son took me a second to process, but I couldn't be happier. I'm a bit obsessed with myself, and having a mini-me is the absolute coolest thing ever. Once we knew you were our little boy, we struggled to think of like a fun way to have a gender reveal. Of course, we could do the basic things like cupcakes that were blue inside, or gender reveal powder from the party stores. But after a while, your mom had the genius idea of doing a gender reveal game night. The whole family would gather together to play games, and once we started playing Jeopardy, we'd drop the news on them that this is going to be a gender reveal Jeopardy. We divided the family into Team Boy and Team Girl and had them answer questions centered around the idea of babies. At the end, we revealed that you're a boy, and the house erupted with excitement. Now, we did have some family that couldn't be there in person for the game night, so we sent them gender reveal boxes. There was a little balloon inside with a pin so that they could pop the balloon and have blue confetti explode out. Now, the Feazel line has birthed boys for generations now, so you followed in that tradition. Once we had told everyone, we had our own little photo shoot a few days later. Your mom let me take charge of this one, and I like going over the top as much as I can. So I set up the black fabric I used to propose to your mom and got way more blue powder than I needed, but we got some awesome gender reveal pictures in the backyard. Now, back when we told your Nana, she got your mom the classic What to Expect When You're Expecting book, and me a first-time dad pregnancy book. The book is fantastic, and it sounds like it was written by me, for me, so it was really easy to follow along. But anyway, the author had said for a while in the book that his wife loved having a body pillow. So I've been suggesting to your mom for months that she get one to help her sleep. She said she'd be fine without it, but I told her one day I needed to go to the store because I was just trying to surprise her with one, but she insisted on coming. Classic mom. So when I came out of the store, your mom got super excited and couldn't wait to get home to try it out. It was one of the best purchases for her throughout the pregnancy. We had your anatomy scan at the hospital soon thereafter. They confirmed you were growing in a textbook fashion, but you also seemed to have your mom's nose, which made me super excited because it's so cute and turned up. But just a few short months later, we started getting your room together. Your room was actually our storage room for a while. We just threw full boxes of stuff in there when we moved and just hadn't unboxed it yet. I started by painting the walls that were baby blue into the color you're more familiar with, which is the light green walls and the dark green accent. While I did that, your mom worked on drawing you pictures of succulents as your first decorations. After a few days of painting your walls, we then tore up the thick blue carpet and put down laminate. Seeing your walls and flooring was great, but what was most exciting was your dinosaur wall. I drew all your decals and your mom printed them off and stuck them to the wall. That plus the name sign your mom made just made your room extra special. Now once we had your room done, we decided to take a few days trip up to Michigan to celebrate the pregnancy journey thus far and our new lives we were quickly approaching with you. We went to the Tulip Festival in Michigan because flowers are one of your mom's absolute favorite things, and seeing so many different pretty types and colors made her so happy. And you know what? I quite enjoyed it too. And then we spent about 2 hours down at one of the beaches just skipping rocks. It was so much fun to disconnect from everything, just be together, and just enjoy each other's company, throwing rocks in the water. It was so much fun, and I'd love to take you up there one day when you're old enough. Now around this point, your mom was becoming a little stir crazy just staying at home. I even told her not to worry about doing chores because I didn't want her overdoing it. She was told by the doctor not to lift anything more than 25 pounds, so with every task, I'd go up to her and say, "Oh honey, that's easily 25 pounds, let me carry that for you." Even if it was just something like moving a pillow on the bed. Now, just to get your mom out of the house and keep her active, we started going on walks around the neighborhood almost daily. It became one of our favorite ways to end the evenings. We were of course documenting everything in the pregnancy, but we thought it'd be great to get some professional pictures done by the husband of one of our friends from high school. He did an amazing job, and we couldn't be happier with the maternity pictures he got of you still growing. Now to wrap up May, we had your baby shower at our church downtown. One of your mom's good friends put the whole thing together and it was super great. I feel like typically the dad isn't present at one of these, but I was because your mom said I could be there. Otherwise, I'd have just been at home either making some art or cleaning or finding a way to do both. And anything involving you, I wanted to be at. We played games, I ate way more cookies than I'd like to admit, and our friends and family gave you some amazing outfits, toys, and various baby things that we're super thankful for. Around week 35, we were concerned with how small you were, so our doctor had you do some non-stress tests, which tracked how your heart rate reacted to your activity inside the womb. The test came back 10 out of 10 perfect, but the sound of your heartbeat was so calming to me that you put me to sleep a few times. As we were getting close to the end of the pregnancy, we felt that the dogs were sensing your arrival, and they started acting a little differently than they normally did. Ella, who never really acted like a dog, started playing with dog toys and tipping over the box and sitting in the toy box. Ella by now, that's just weird for her. Mowgli started being super clingy to both your mom and me, and Stitch became very protective of your mom, slightly aggressive, probably sensing that you were a baby with mom. He didn't know how, but he was getting a little aggressive. One night, I went to go give Stitch a goodnight kiss while he was next to your mom, and Stitch gave me my first set of stitches. Now I'm just waiting on Mowgli to give me my first set of Mowglis. Yeah, that joke didn't work for your mom either. Toward the end, we started going on walks at a few of the close parks, and your mom even managed to walk 1.3 miles in one go, which was absolutely huge for her. Given you were full term and could be born at any moment, that was an amazing accomplishment. At one of our last appointments, our doctor told us he was scheduled to be out of town the day you were due. Go figure. So even though your mom wanted you to come on your own, to ensure that we had the same doctor from start to finish, she chose to be induced. The last night before your induction was here. We both had a hard time describing our feelings, really. We were nauseous, nervous, had an indescribable feeling of this is the last time it will just be the two of us living here. Now, I'd never even held a baby, much less even been around one, so I had no idea what I was about to get into, but above everything, we were super excited to finally meet you. July 23rd, 9 a.m. We got to the hospital to check in for the induction. They told us it would be a process that could take around 18 to 30 hours. It really just works differently person to person. They started your mom on the first med and kept her there for about 18 hours. No progress had been made. They started the second treatment. Now, your mom told me to go ahead and order pancakes from the cafe for breakfast. But by 9:30, your mom's water broke, so I was thankful I didn't order food yet, because I'd have felt like a real behind chowing down on pancakes while your mom was accelerating in her labor. Her pain started shooting up quickly from a 1 to a 10. It hurt me knowing that I could do absolutely nothing but hold her hand. The docs came in at 10:30 to number up. I had to step outside the room for the next 25 minutes while this procedure took place. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't standing in the hallway crying at the sound of your mother's pain. My best friend in the world, in the worst pain of her life, and I was just to stand outside the door. The moment couldn't come soon enough that I was able to go back in and see your mom. Tears streaming down her face, and all I wanted to do was hold her and tell her how much I love her. The nurse came in a few minutes later and let us know that your mom had progressed insanely and unpredictably fast. We were about to have a baby. After 8 minutes of pushing, you were in our arms. Your mom was an absolute rock star in delivery, and yes, I had the honor of cutting your cord. This has been the fastest 9 months of my life. You've changed our lives forever, and we couldn't be more excited that you chose us. We can't wait to show you everything amazing in this world and how to have fun with it. So go ahead, write on the walls, color outside the lines, and create something beautiful. Your mom and I will always be there to cheer you on. You are our answered prayer, our firstborn. We love you, Oliver.